I wanted to talk to you about brachial plexus irritation. So some of us may experience some like numbness, tingling in the hand, coming actually from the neck all the way down the arm, and it may be a result of the brachial plexus getting irritated. So what does that mean exactly? So let's first just take a look at where the brachial plexus is. So if we come here off our cervical spine, we're going to see some nerve roots sticking out. And then we come here to where the first rib is and the clavicle is right here. There's a bunch of nerves that come off and then they will run down, kind of coming right underneath the clavicle, down the arm, all the way into the hand. When this bunch gets together, so you can see these nerves right here from essentially C5 all the way down to T1, how they clump themselves together and then go right down the arm as such, which is what creates that tingling feeling that you can feel going all the way down to the fingertip. Sometimes if we're experiencing tension in our neck, maybe we're noticing some increased tension in the front of our neck due to our scalings being a little over tight. Maybe our traps are starting to get a little tight as well. It can create some irritation in this area, and it can make for some really uncomfortableness in our hand. So what are some basic and simple things that we can do? Well, if we know that the brachial plexus is coming in here and essentially also affecting a little bit more in the front part of our chest, meaning our pectorals, we want to actually focus on opening up that chest wall and trying to really stretch out the pecs. But at the same token, we want to make a conscious effort on stretching out our traps as well. So what we want to go ahead and do is we want to make sure that our traps are getting nice and stretched, and same with our pec on the same side that we're having the nerve pain. Now you could go ahead and do some soft tissue massage into the pectoral muscle as well, and if you have a loving spouse or partner at home and they want to go ahead and give you a little bit of massage to the upper part of the trap, that's all going to be good and help as well, because we want to really decrease the tension that's being felt in those muscles. So let's look at some of the stuff that you can do simply with things that you have access to at home. So the first thing you could do is a doorway stretch to really go ahead and stretch out that pectoral muscle. So instead of bringing the arm right up at 90, bring the arm down to about a 45-degree angle. Go ahead and step through the doorway with the opposite leg, really allowing that whole entire stretch to happen here across the pectoral and a little bit going down into the arm. And if you wanted, add a little bit of gentle pressure and start stretching out the trap at the same time by going ahead and bringing the opposite ear to the opposite shoulder. But notice as I do this, I don't elevate my shoulder up. I simply bring the head down, stretching it out. While you're doing this, you could also go ahead, bring the head down, looking towards the armpit, and stretching out this way as well. Again, stretching everything out in this position. So this is a really great simple stretch you can do by using the doorway at home to stretch out the pec and really start to open up that whole entire area. If it's really irritated and inflamed, go ahead and just do some nice gentle side stretching and allow for the trap to really relax. And again, going ahead and looking just towards the armpit. Now, say we have access to something like a TRex. There's a few other things you can do to really go ahead and stretch out that pectoral area. So let's go ahead and take a look at those. So if you have access to a TRex, here are some other ones that you could do to try to help stretch out that brachial plexus area. So the first one would be kind of simple, similar to what we just did in the doorway. We're going to stand away from our anchor point, keeping the arms down, actually a little bit more like a 45-degree angle, allowing our chest to really stick through. And we're stretching ourselves out right here in this position, feeling a nice stretch along the pec. You could drop the chin to chest as well, starting to stretch out the traps here and having a nice stretch going there. The next one you can do is you can come, bring the arms up, big and tall, drop one arm down, reaching up with the opposite and allowing the body to come over. But this time, now start to also look towards the opposite shoulder, allowing everything to be stretched out here, coming back up, and again, falling to the other side, stretching up nice and tall, bringing the head to the shoulder here. Trying to get the scapula to relax itself all the way down, trying to stretch out that trap at the same time. Now, from here, you could go ahead and go into a golf swing, which again is going to allow you to start stretching out everything in the shoulder blade. So coming in, looking down, stretching everything out along that upper trap, getting behind into that scapula as well. And then from there, also looking at the hand as you come along and open everything up. Again, really trying to get some scapular movement, opening up that chest wall and starting to release some tension in the traps itself. The other one is actually really what's called the TRex lat stretch, but you could use it to really try to stretch out the traps by allowing them to decrease in tension. So simply what you would do is, from here, you're going to fall back, allow the hips to really extend back, drop the chin between the chest, chin towards chest, going ahead, giving a nice little twist, feeling the scapula really stretch out, coming back to center, and then going ahead and dropping to the other side. And then coming here and coming up, back up by pushing the hips forward. So again, go ahead, drop those hips, chin to chest, look to one side, coming back, look to the other side. Now, another one that you could do to really stretch out that brachial plexus while using the TRex becomes a little bit more creative and simply requires a little bit more movement pattern where you open it up to a T. So you'd come here, do your golf swing, again, open it up, feel the pec stretch happening, and then coming back down into that position. So again, doing your golf swing, come up all the way, pivoting on the toes, allow for that stretch to happen, and then coming back down. So right there is just some simple things that you can do between the doorway and then giving yourself some nice little trap stretches, using a TRex to help you as well. Now, if you don't have access to a TRex, there is one other thing you could use as well, and that's a therapy ball. So if you're still experiencing some brachial plexus irritation, you've done your doorway stretch, you've gone ahead and done some of the isometric stretches, but all you have access to is a therapy ball at home, here's some other things that you can do to kind of try to really stretch out that area a little further. So the first thing that you can do is actually just kneeling in front, put the hands on the ball, push the hips back, drop the chin to the chest, really trying to stretch out the mid back here in this position, allowing everything to really stretch out, and then kind of coming back up into position here. The other one you could do is doing a nice easy, taking the hand, rolling it out, coming in, and allowing yourself to thread that needle, again, trying to really stretch out behind the scap, allowing the trap to relax its way down, and then coming back up. Again, a lot of this with brachial plexus is also increasing thoracic spine mobility to take tension out of the traps, open up that chest wall, and allowing for better nerve functionality happening at the wrist. Now, the other thing you could do is a really nice one. You just come, lay back on the ball, and allow yourself just to kind of open in this position. And all you're doing is really allowing that pectoral muscle to stretch its way completely out in this position. So all I'm doing is essentially just relaxing my upper body over the ball, allowing the arms to drop from side to the side. The other thing you could do is actually use a foam roller to do the same activity where you're just laying on the long way and again allowing the arms to open. So those are a few things you could do for some brachial plexus irritation. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm here to help. And then anything, just remember, subscribe to the channel, like some videos, and again, this is just for some brachial plexus, opening up that nerve chain to help you feel a little bit better in the hands.